All right, we are back for another episode. This is Against the Grain Real Estate. I'm your host, Richard Chinakwe, and this is the Daily Grain. On the Daily Grain, what we do is we discuss topics that have to do with starting a shared housing program in order to acquire real estate investment property. And with this property that we have running this program, we're able to maximize our return on investment, where we like to say we're willing our revenue, we're not waiting for it. Okay, today is episode 2 of the Daily Grain. What we're trying to do today is we're going to discuss, today's episode is called Different Organizations That Are Interested in This Form of Housing That I Provide and Why This Type of Housing Would Never Ever Go Anywhere. Okay, first and foremost, we understand that what we're offering here is an affordable, safe living environment for individuals who are either, number one, or are aging, okay, which we have elderly individuals who don't make enough money, and they are sitting on a waiting list to get into an affordable housing program, okay, or an affordable housing facility. Might be an apartment, tax credit apartment, or something of that nature. But they're sitting on the waiting list and they need someplace to go, and they necessarily cannot live on their own. So that means they function better in a group setting. So you have individuals like that. Number two, you have individuals who are high functioning, but they have some kind of mental type of illness, but they're very high functioning, safe, not dangerous whatsoever. But they also function better in a group environment. Okay, and also you have vets. So you have aging vets who are older. They're just looking for a nice, safe environment, and they function better living in groups and looking for affordable housing. And they go through different programs. So they have a navigator. A navigator helps them find housing in a group setting, which would be cheaper. And also, these navigators work for organizations that can supplement housing, give a little bit more extra to a vet in order to accommodate them for a housing that's above average. Okay, so those are pretty much the scenarios that you have. So what we're going to do is I'm going to run through some of the organizations, or some of the titles of the individuals of organizations that utilize this housing and are continuously searching for this type of shared housing program that I provide out here in Sacramento. And by the way, I'm out here today. I'm in San Francisco, California. It's gorgeous out here, and I'm out here working. I work in the affordable housing industry, so I know affordable housing. So this is something that I've been doing for a long time on my own, 12 years plus, and also my job is within the affordable housing sector. So I know affordable housing, so I know the ins and outs and ins of affordable housing and what's happening in that market. Okay, so now we'll talk about navigators. So what navigators are, to start off, first and foremost, navigators, they work with vets. So what a navigator does is they have a person who's a Vietnam vet or someone who's a military vet, and they're looking for housing. So what a navigator does, they use their resources, different resources, self-help housing, and different organizations and different tools to help find placement for these vets at a certain price range, where they can actually live a decent environment where it's safe and it's quiet and it's calm. That's what usually the vets are looking for. So they turn to some of these programs who are kind of outsourced by the department of the department that works with veterans. So you have the department that works with veterans that helps them find houses that are shared housing programs that they can rent a room individually, have their own refrigerator, have their bed, have a dresser in there, and for all that they pay around maybe $850. Right, but that includes 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day, and we'll talk about meals later and how you can actually get these meals in here, and it's not going to take up all your day, and it's worth it for them because they know that no matter what happens, they're always going to have a meal provided, whether it be a hot dinner or whatnot. So we'll get more into that when we get into more of the vlog, and I can go in depth and dig deep, and we can get into the nitty gritty of how that works. But that's another vlog, another segment that we'll talk about. Okay, so we have navigators. So navigators work with vets. We have that. So we have placement agents. Placement agents work with individuals who have special needs or whatnot. And these individuals are high functioning. They're born with some kind of mental illness or born with some kind of physical illness too, but they're still functioning. They still interact on day to day. They're still cohesive or coherent or whatnot. And these individuals, they operate better and they live better in a group setting. Number one, the group setting is cheaper for them, right? Number two, you understand that a lot of times they don't have a deposit, right? All these individuals, they don't have a deposit, first month's, last month's, and security deposit to rent somewhere, so they don't have that type of money because they're on their fixed income. So what you have individuals where they turn to a placement agent who helps find individuals who are shared housing providers like myself that run a safe, clean living environment, free of drugs, alcohol, whatnot, that I offer shared housing where you rent your own room as your own suite, and you have everything you need that's provided for you via, you have a TV, you have a dresser, you have a bed in there, or whatnot, closet, and it's your own space. And we make sure that this food, is a meal on site, and there's breakfast items kept on site for you to access to. And I'll show you how to actually limit that and how to control that later on in the vlog, show you how this works. Okay, so placement agents work with individuals who are, like we said, let's review. They're high functioning, they're mentally ill as well, but they're very high functioning and safe, or they have a physical illness. You have placement agents also work with adult protective services. So you have seniors who are of age who might have hurt themselves or whatnot, or they're in an apartment and they can't live anymore. Let's say they left the stove on and something happened traumatic, and the management was like, hey, you can't live here by yourself, we have to put you out. And they're not actively looking for housing, and they don't have a deposit, they don't have any money saved, then themselves on a fixed income, they don't have enough to go into a old folks home, got costs an arm and a leg. So, and they are on the waiting list for an affordable housing unit in an affordable housing apartment. But what do they do until then? They call me. They call someone who's a shared housing provider who offers this type of living arrangement in order for them to get in there. Don't have to worry about the first months, don't have to worry about the deposit, don't have to worry about the last month's rent, don't have to worry about any type of hidden fees. What they pay month to month. Okay, so to get them in there, so I have a placement agent who works with adult protective services who, hey, the doctors or hospitals or the apartment putting this individual out because of what they've done or what they did not do in their apartment. Maybe they didn't clean up, maybe they didn't do this, they didn't do that, so they can't live by themselves. Okay, we can't have them on the street, so where do they go? They come to me. Okay, they come to guys like me who run a shared housing program that offer these things, that offer these amenities that are within a certain neighborhood that these people can utilize and be safe. Okay, so that is what's called, that's what a placement agent does. Placement agent works with adult protective services. They work with seniors who are at risk or whatnot, and also they help house seniors in affordable housing units of some sort. But if they can't place them there, they place them with me temporarily, and temporarily could be 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and that's 2, 3, 4, or 5 years of receiving rent. Okay, receiving rent. So if you're able to do this in a property where you're getting $850 a property, $850 a unit, a bedroom in a 4-bedroom house, you do the math. Okay, you got 2 people in there at $850. You do the math. Okay, so you're looking at what, $1,700, and another $1,700 for the other 2 rooms. So you're at what, $3,400. Okay, so you got $3,400 when you know you don't make that from a rental. You're renting it for $1,100, $1,200. You got to come out your pocket and do what you need to do in order to make ends meet with that investment property. Depending on what you're doing with the property, I don't know what you're doing with the property. But what I'm here to do is show you how to maximize the revenue out that property, right? And you have more money in your pocket. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I do. I do it monthly. I want to tell you something I haven't done myself for 10 years while I'm able to gross $15,000 a month doing this. It works, okay? This is what I do, and I set into this arena not to just run a shared housing, not to be a shared housing provider, but to set the standard in this industry. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing this vlog, because I want to take it to the next level. That's what I'm doing. So I want to bring you guys along and show you how you can do this, but do it the right way, okay? Now, let's get back on track. So now, also, we went over a navigator. Okay. We went over a placement agent. Okay, but now we're going to deal with the discharge planner. Discharge planners also work with organizations, work with hospitals. So what they do is, let's say an individual is a senior, they hurt themselves in their apartment. Not only did they hurt themselves, they do something and they have to leave their apartment for some crazy reason. They can't afford it, they're not paying it, they're not budgeting right, so they don't pay their electricity bill, they don't pay that. Something happens where they have to leave that apartment. They're on a waiting list for an affordable housing unit at a affordable apartment, tax credit property, something that they have to rent to these individuals at a minimum income. For individuals that have a restricted minimum income limit, they have to rent to them at that limit. Okay, so now, but everyone is trying to get into these apartments, so there is a waiting list that's a 6, 7, 8 year waiting list. Okay, now we're going to talk about that even more down the line in this vlog, so you understand why this is a niche and there'll always be a need for this type of housing. For this type of housing, there'll always be a need. Okay, so a discharge planner, they work at hospitals. That individual was in their apartment, they got hurt, this and that. Let's say they hurt their leg, they fell downstairs, they're hurt. Boom. Now they're temporarily physically impaired. Okay, they can't live alone, right? But they're in the hospital long enough to get back on their feet, do what they need to do. And now a discharge planner says, hey, do you have housing? Where are you going to go when you leave the hospital? So what they do is they work with other organizations, other navigators from the hospital, and they help them find shared housing providers like me. So shared housing providers like me would get the call and be like, hey, we got Cynthia over here, Richard. Can you come do an assessment on Cynthia? Cynthia has this, has that, and I ask the questions, the pertinent questions I need to ask to make sure she'll be a good fit in the house if I have an opening. Okay, so now let's say Cynthia, she's good. I ask my questions for my assessment. We're ready to rock and roll. So I go down there, do an assessment of Cynthia, see how she is. I'm like, okay, when's her discharge date? Her discharge will be this. So I'm talking to the discharge planner, getting more information from the planner, blah, blah, blah. And then Cynthia gets released. She comes to my property. She moves in. I find out how she handles her finances. I get my money for the month that she's staying, and we sign a lease agreement with her, knowing that, hey, she's coming here, from this area, from this, it's on here, close that, sorry about that. So from this area, from this hospital, and she's being released to me, so I sign some papers and she comes to my program. Boom, discharge planners help put money in your pocket, and you're doing a service, you're providing a service that helps people, and at the same time, you're making money. Because at the end of the day, we're all here to make money. Period. So if I figured a way how I can make money, help people, right, and help me invest in real estate, who wouldn't want to do that? That is what I do. Okay, that is simply what I do, and you can't beat that. I mean, you have a viable business that's always going to grow. It's always going to be in need, and it's always going to help people. You know, so it's good. Okay, so we talked about that. So we covered that: discharge planners, placement agents, and navigators. Okay, so these individuals help individuals who have a need, or who have some kind of ailment, they need help, they need housing, need affordable housing, they can't go the traditional way and go rent an apartment and don't have money down to fixed income, find me. I put them up, I do an assessment, I make sure they're a good fit, and I put them in a nice, safe living environment that's surrounded with amenities that are within so many walking distances that can get to. They're comfortable, right? And they have everything they need. I make sure that there's meals that they can prepare in the house as far as grocery shopping, but I'll show you how to do that to where it doesn't bust the budget. It doesn't break the bank, and also prepare dinners that are delivered every day, or they're kept on site every day that they can have access to, along with you're supplementing their money. So they're more comfortable, they're in there. At the same time, you're getting $850 for this, $850 for this per room, right? $1,700 every 2 rooms, right? It makes sense. It makes sense. So, I mean, I look at that. You're looking at $3,400 as opposed to renting out the traditional way where you're making $1,300, your mortgage is $1,400 or $1,100. You haven't pulled money out your pocket to pay for your water and sewage, right? So now you're breaking even, and something comes up, something breaks down, whatever happens, and now money's coming out your pocket, so now you're negative, whatever, $150 a month, and you're doing all this, and you're not making any money. So it's like, what are you really doing this for? When you can do this way, when you know 2 rooms covers your mortgage on top of that, and another $500, you use that to help run the home with the bills and everything, and then you have extra access to between $1,300 to $1,000. $1,300 to $1,000 net per property in California. That is unheard of. So I just wanted to touch with you guys about different organizations and actually people that have these titles as a navigator, a placement agent, a discharge planner, that are looking continuously for this type of housing to be provided. A shared housing provider running a program. All you do is house them, and you make them comfortable, and you have an environment that's safe and livable, and they will pay you $750 to $850 per client. And I'm going to show you how you can do this seamlessly, and you can make money doing it. Well, this is Against the Grain. This is the Daily Grain. This is my second video. I just want to talk to you about that. We'll be back tomorrow with another video where we'll focus on different another topic that has to do with this. Maybe, I think what I want to do tomorrow is I want to focus a little bit more on other. We'll continue this because I want to focus. I have three more contacts here that I feel that are always continuously looking for shared housing providers. And I'm going to touch on those tomorrow. I just want to touch with you guys today and do a quick video. Well, thanks for checking in. This is Against the Grain Real Estate. I'm your host, Richard Chin A. Quay. Okay? And man, this is Daily Grain. I'll be with you every day, 365 days a year. I'll be posting the video about this industry, showing you how you can actually make this work and make money. Okay, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, welcome to my vlog. I mean, I hope you guys stick around because I'm going to show you how this actually happens, and you can come with me on the journey of how I'm going to take this to the next level. Thank you. Take care. See you tomorrow.